It's so surreal to have been a fan of this franchise and a fan of Chris McQuarrie's work and Tom Cruise's work, and then to be sat in a car on a set, handcuffed to Tom Cruise. And at one point I looked at him and I went, I, I'm in a Tom Cruise movie. And he, without pausing, went, no, 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 I'm in a Hayley Atwell movie. And it was, he's so generous that way. He really bolsters people and he really wants to see them do well. And so with every kind of expression of excitement of being in this surreal world, from being behind the camera watching a mission film to being within the kind of mechanics of a Mission Impossible film, there were lots of pinch me moments, and he had them with me along the way. I had 5 months of training. It was an amazing, very rare and unusual opportunity to be working with the kind of stunt team and prop masters and choreographers that Tom, finds and discovers. They're really the best in the world at what they do. And so I was introduced to all these different disciplines, from mixed martial arts to working on a gun range with various different kinds of guns, various different props, and also doing unarmed combat. And what I discovered is that I had a natural ability and an enjoyment of doing fight sequences with props. That if you gave me 2 knives, I could actually speed up the choreography of the fight because I was using these props as an extension of Grace's mood. They gave me kind of anchor points and something more physically to do than just using my fist. Joining the gang as Hayley is a lot more fun than Grace joining the gang the first time, because she doesn't know what she's getting herself into, and she is not convinced that they've got her back. So she's hypervigilant and on guard. But for Hayley coming into an already very established friendship group that Tom and Simon and Ving have had and enjoyed for many, many years, it's like it's incredibly welcoming, and it's also upbeat and it's fun, and they have lots of in jokes based on all the experiences that they've had around the world for the many years that they've been working on these together. The thing I love most about working with Simon Pegg is there is this sweet spot where we can really make each other laugh. And that becomes quite dangerous when you're in the middle of a very important scene where the stakes are very high. But because he is so much of the comic relief as Benji, and because I've enjoyed watching him play Benji for so long now, being on the receiving end of that in a scene is it's hard sometimes because it's just so funny. And he's great at he's great at teasing, a playful teasing of me, and making sure that there's a levity and approach to it. So it can be very focused and very intense and very sincere set. But he's always there to, pull the rug from under my feet and make sure that I'm also having fun while I'm doing it. Ving has such gravitas. His presence is so, I find it very calming to be around him, because he has so much wisdom and so much experience in this industry, and such a force for good, and all the work that he does outside of being an actor and supporting the communities that he grew up in, to be this extraordinary person and devoting a life of service to other people. The thing that the world knows about Mission Impossible is it's all about the locations. That sets the visual language of the film. And every single film tries to top itself with and outdo itself with where it can go next. Where are the locations that have not been seen on film or been able to be depicted in a particular way? And I would say that the locations and then the stunts become the sort of in the foreground of what the film will be. They become the ultimate backdrop that then dictate what the action is going to be, and also indeed what the story is. Tom loves to travel the world and to discover new, new cultures and communities of people, and find out what is unique about that particular location, and then sort of as a love letter to the location creates Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible is a love letter to the incredible diversity of this planet. I knew when I got the job that there would be about a 5-month training period where it would be not that we were chasing a particular style or a particular aesthetic, but we were seeing where my natural abilities, strengths, and interests lie, and therefore creating a bespoke training program so that I could competently and safely do these stunts. And so the motto that I ran with, literally, was to be fit for purpose. So we tried lots of different disciplines, and what I felt most connected to was working with knives and working with more styles of mixed martial arts that were a lower center of gravity. Pom is incredible at these high kicks, and I found that I was much more of a wrestly kind of fighter and a scrappy one, and very fast with knives and with props. And so we use that as the character, and we use that as part of the training process, so that I was able to get to a level of competence where I knew that I was able to do certain stunts over and over again from different angles with dynamic movement. And I found that that whole experience changed my life, because it meant that I was able to start to put myself out of my comfort zone, but also be able to control my nervous system so that I was able to push myself further physically. What became very apparent early on in my preparation and my research and my training for Mission, without a script necessarily or particular anchor points of who my character was going to be, is Chris McQuarrie and Tom Cruise's uh, drive, passion, commitment for the actresses that they employ coming in, or the actors that they employ coming in, to uh, really play and to collaborate and to offer lots of different ideas and to be fully seen and heard in them, and having great, honest, direct communication about things that we wanted to try or that I was confused about and needed clearing up on. They're so transparent in their process and very inclusive in that. And I felt incredibly safe. And I also thought, I want to come in and offer something new. I want to be offering something that hasn't been seen before in a Mission film, because it's already such a beloved and established franchise that I would have to offer something new. Otherwise, I'm either going over old ground, or it's already been done before, or the audience don't have a new emotional attachment to my character because it's the same. It's always been. And I knew that I wanted to try and elevate Grace out of just being one thing or the representation of the new woman coming in, so that it felt much more expansive than that. Chris McQuarrie, he is a visionary. He is innovative. He's an amazing actor. He can perform the entire story for you in front of you over dinner. And he knows the points to make you cry, to make you laugh, to make you sit on the edge of your seat. It's like he's kind of understands the musicality of storytelling and how to hit all these beats. And then the next day, he can come up with a completely different version of what he wants the plot to be, and it can be just as good and detailed and captivating. Tom and McHugh's working relationship is forged over, I think, 16 years of friendship and a deep appreciation and understanding of film, the technical sides of it, but also about storytelling. And so I've come into their orbit at a time where it's so sort of finessed in terms of their language of how they communicate on a set, that they're finishing each other's sentences and they're sort of mind reading. Tom can go, "Hey, McHugh," and Tom and McHugh will be like, "Yeah, I agree." And you're like, what? What was that exchange? Um, and they both challenge each other, and they're both very strong-willed, independent leaders, and yet they complement each other because it's a foundation of utter respect about what the other can do. And it's a symbiotic relationship that they come hand in hand. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. This blows everything out of the water from what Tom has done before. His scale of ambition for this to be the most mind-blowing, gut-wrenching, physical, visceral experience of an adventure movie that gets to the heart of friendship and the good fight of triumph over adversity and the power of the human spirit. This is unlike anything that audiences will have ever seen before because the technologies used to create it weren't invented until this was shot, even on a technical level. Audiences are going to have the ride of their lives. They'll want to see it in the cinema over and over again.